I regret doing that. Cut that out.
With the final episode of Percy Jackson and the Olympians now streaming, a lot of actions went down behind the scenes in the making of the show that you definitely need to see. The recent and final episodes of Percy Jackson and the Olympians have been filled with sword fights, betrayals, and reunions, and that means the cast had to put even more energy and commitment into their roles behind the scenes. One of the most intense scenes in the series happened when the gang went to the underworld and was chased by an enormous creature, Cerberus, who swallowed Grover. Just like in the show, the cast had to do a lot of running on set, and Walker Scobell, who plays Percy Jackson, mentioned that he was scared behind the scenes. And that's because they were meant to be acting and running simultaneously, and if they got anything wrong, they would have to start all over, which was very exhausting, but they all found a way to joke about it, with Arian relating the run to that of Tom Cruise, which made it less tiring on set. And you can't blame Arian for trying to make light of the situation, as Cerberus almost made him deceased in that scene. However, it's even crazier behind the scenes, where he wasn't only required to run, but also got suspended in the air.
When Cerberus eats me, I get pulled up and away.
So it was a challenging moment on set, but Arian was very excited to go through the process, as you can see from his smiles. Grover got snatched up instead of his friends because Cerberus caught up with him first, which he has no issues with, but Walker disagrees.
It's going good. It's not going good.
After performing a series of tiring stunts, Arian joked that people who can do those stunts should be charged because it's like having fun. And Leah Jeffries, who played Annabeth, was pleased to have run faster than the rest of the gang, even if that's just part of the script. So she concluded that she was a better runner than Walker and Arian. Also, it was a full set these days, as the scene required many characters who have passed away and are trying to gain entrance into the underworld. And to achieve this, many extra actors were on set that day. So the cast had to put in even more effort to get all of their stunts right to avoid multiple retakes where they would be exhausted before they reached the best take. Unfortunately for Grover, he got swallowed by Cerberus, and Annabeth had to climb and pet the dog. Behind the scenes, this dog is just a giant structure, with one side built to give an animal shape, which Annabeth climbed in the series with her stunt double right with her. So that scene looks different on set. However, during this period of Annabeth calming down the dog, Grover was released, and he looked like he'd been swallowed for real. For the actor to look wet and slimy, he had to be covered in a slobber, which he didn't very much enjoy.
Really zoom in on this. It's freezing cold. It's very goopy.
Surprisingly, Arian attempted to taste the sloppy liquid because of the milkshake ingredient, and he was told that it was edible and non-toxic, but they wouldn't advise him to go for it. But that wasn't the end of all that Arian endured in that scene. Apparently, getting dropped out of the dog's mouth required extra stunts, and Arian was so sure of his skills on set.
I'm nailing this in one take.
Ready and action!
You are a bad dog. Cut.
After having a long day doing different takes of the stunts and being covered in slime, Arian was able to get through it all with the support of his friends. And he added a joke saying no long bath would be enough to bring him back to his former self. The waterbed scene was also delightful for the cast to film on set. And they were all excited because they'd never slept on a waterbed before, and they took their time to explore the comfortability of the beds on set. Before seeing one, Walker always thought it would be uncomfortable, but he was proven wrong. It's a different case for Arian, who never wants to try it again. But Leah was even more impressed and wondered why she never experienced a waterbed before, as she mentioned that she wouldn't want to wake up from sleeping on one. In episode 6, the gang met Hermes, and viewers got to see and explore the beautiful Lotus Hotel where Grover got lost and forgot all about his friends. And in one of the scenes, Percy is the one who had to drive the getaway car. Even without experience, he believed he could do it since he didn't have any fighting experience before defeating the Minotaur. However, it wasn't a big challenge for Walker to pull off behind the scenes, as they mostly had fun through the car crashes they experienced in the show. While trying to film the scene, Walker and Arian got into a little fight.
Go!
When they finally started to drive, the car didn't hit anything as they used lightning props to achieve the sparkles and hitting effects in the scene. Leah added that if it were to be Annabeth behind the wheels, it would have been a smoother ride than Percy's driving. Interestingly, they all seemed very scared behind the scenes when it got to the point where they had to deal with water, and you can already guess who wasn't moved a bit.
Oh my god, I'm getting flashbacks.
was sitting there and they said, activate rain towers. I said, what?
Let's start the rain.
Dear God.
This is so exciting!
No, it's not. Don't try to make this happy.
A show with many stunts like Percy Jackson and the Olympians would definitely need help on set with body doubles. But because the cast had dedicated months to learn to fight, they got the privilege to perform most of the stunts themselves. For Walker, his body double was Cassandra, a well-known stunt performer made up on set to look just as similar to Percy. In the scene where Percy and his friends encountered Echidna, the stunt double was the one who finished what Walker started, as you can see in the background. Also, the fire in that scene was authentic, but they ensured enough safety measures were in place before proceeding. However, the stunt double looked so much like Walker after getting dressed in the same outfits and hair. Towards the end of the show, viewers saw a shocking discovery that exposed Luke as the betrayer that the Oracle warned about before the quest started. But it's a different case behind the scenes, with Charlie Bushnell and Walker looking like best friends on set. Even after they finished fighting each other, they still took a picture of themselves with their swords. However, the suspected thief of the lightning bolt, Clarice, still looks like a villain even behind the scenes, and that's because Dior Gajan enjoyed staying in character so much to the horror of her co-stars, and she made sure to find a suitable punishment for everyone who called her character a thief.
Do the thumbs up, Andrew. Everybody's doing it. Double. Walker double.
Another intense fight in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which fans could finally see, happened between Ares and Percy. And this time, Ares wasn't his usual cheerful self, as he didn't come to play, and they honestly kept to this energy behind the scenes. Everyone, even Percy, felt Zeus's appearance in the show, and it was an incredible encounter that led to Poseidon showing up himself. Walker got a picture with the late Lance Reddick, who played the role, and Toby Stevens, and he looked happy to have been able to work with these two actors. Like in the show where Percy couldn't see his father physically until he needed rescue from Zeus, Walker also didn't see Toby Stevens, who portrayed Poseidon, until he was on the set to film his part. And their first time meeting was just as chilled as it was in the series. After the gang failed their quest, they were still on a trip to stop the war from happening, which got them into even more trouble. But behind the scenes, they enjoyed the good moments with Leah dancing while filming. Luke's shoe was also against Grover and Percy on the trip, as it tried pulling them into a ditch, which was a very uncomfortable moment. However, the cast looked far from terrified on set. The good thing is that the setup was done in a studio, so it didn't require as many stunts as the other ones, and they got enough time to play with the instruments and hang around with the different cast and crew. But they weren't scared of any stunts on set, especially with how they've trained and learned so much during the rehearsals. The set of Percy Jackson is such a beautiful place where the cast had no issues exploring their skills to the maximum. During the finale, the characters agreed to take a break to do something entertaining, and Percy encouraged Annabeth to be a child and enjoy an actual amusement park. And the exciting thing about how that ended is that the cast took that seriously, and as soon as they finished filming, they all took a short trip to a Walt Disney World resort. So this further promotes the fact that the cast's behind-the-scenes lifestyle is just as similar to their on-screen characters.